It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. Long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now, to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Happy Devils Sunday! This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 3, episode 15, titled Things Need to Change Now. Here are your co-hosts. You have Scotty, Beer Baron.
Yo.
Shorts guy making an appearance because his hockey game got canceled. I am your host, Sam Wu. Check us on Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube Live, Twitch, live everywhere. Powered by Nova Product Design on the Primetime Radio Network. Take it away, boys.
I just like how he says, "Take it away." Just
yeah.
I like that Campbell intro. That was something.
Yeah, that's
cram it, Jake Weekly.
Yeah. It's nothing is going right for the New Jersey Devils. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Nothing is going right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. And you're right about there probably will be a rant at some point today.
Probably.
Just because, like, honestly, that Rangers game, I'm so glad that I did not go to that game. I know a few people that did go to that game. Yeah. And let me just tell you, it is just, you talk about the wheels falling off. You have almost an entire period worth of power play minutes, and you can't even. I think at one point they had like 15 minutes of power play time, and they had one shot on goal. It was funny because
didn't matter. It didn't matter what type of. It didn't matter what type of power play either. We had a major, a double minor, and a whole ton of regular minors, and none of them worked.
It felt like the Rangers were like, "Here you guys go. You know what? Here, take this game. You can win. It's all right. We want that number 1 pick."
Yeah. No, it's almost like they were given every opportunity to try to win yesterday, or at least try to take on the game, and then they couldn't do it. And then shorthanded goals, letting up 2 shorthanded goals. Like, come on. Like, that's terrible. You're not going to win letting up shorties like that. That's terrible.
And Mike, I haven't heard anything about PK wanting out, but would it surprise you at this point? Like, I don't think anything would surprise me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Pierre LeBrun going on and saying that, Taylor Hall, there's a bunch of suitors and people are calling and the Devils are listening. Yeah, they better be listening. It's, at this point, it's like, what the hell? I think, the name of the show right now, Things Need to Change, is the most appropriate way to put it. Like, things need to change drastically with this team. They suck. They're boring to watch. They're terribly coached. The big bag of suck on the ice.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
I'm telling you, man.
Rant number 1 today.
But
I don't know, man.
So we're in such a precarious position because everyone's gonna point to, okay, well, we need to change the coaching. Fine, that's great. So they fire Hines. Who do you replace him with? This is the question.
At this point, nobody on this staff.
This is the question that no one has an answer for. Great. Yeah, we should, is it time for Hines to go? It's all signs are pointing towards yes. However, if there's no suitable replacement, what do you do? I was having a conversation in the middle of my hockey game on Wednesday night with a buddy of mine who was reffing. And this was our conversation, like, who could potentially be out there? And the only person that could potentially be someone that is good with youth, may only be a stopgap, but you get the Devils going in the right direction, is Capuano. That's the only name we can come up with.
Well, I mean, I'll just, I'll just, well, I'll just throw out also that would it be possible for, could we see Fitzgerald just take over the team for the rest of the season, and then they do like a more like in-depth coaching search?
I did see a rumor of that today. Yes, that potential is out there. That if they let Hines go, that he could come in an interim basis and take over.
Yeah, he could take over Jacques' role.
Yeah. I mean, is that what you want? Is that what people would want to? Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know what the solution to this problem is. The Devils obviously don't know what the solution is because they would have done it already. If we knew the solution to the problem, we'd be making a lot more money than we're making right now. But we don't.
I know the solution, and he's working in an office over in Long Island. His name is Lou Lamoriello. You bring him back on the bench, have him throw a couple of jars of jelly against the wall, and get this team straightened out. Bingo, bango! You're in the green. Honestly, though, if at this rate with the defense playing the way it's playing, with the power play, the PK, everything is a hot mess. You would have to have a complete redo. Just get rid of everybody. So bringing Fitzgerald in as a full-time head coach right now would be a great idea. But then you have to look at the rest of the staff. Obviously,
absolutely,
there's just something lacking with this team. This fast attacking blah, blah, blah crap isn't working. And they have the talent to do it. But obviously, there's a huge disconnect.
Hey, Bennett Brower coming out over here. He's going to start Chris Farling things over here. Yeah, maybe the Devils don't look the part.
Yeah. Maybe their coach doesn't know what he's doing. So Fitzgerald makes would make a great point, or would be it would make a lot of sense. And I don't know. I was watching when he was still behind the bench. They were playing the Canadians, the game that they actually came back and won, and something happened in the game. And was that? No. I'm not talking about Thanksgiving. I'm talking about the last time they came back and won and beat. When Kincaid was in goal. Mm-hmm. Fitzgerald was still on the bench, and something happened, and you see Hines have this kind of like dumbfounded look, and Fitzgerald like glanced over at him and was just going like, "Oh my God, like you got to be kidding me," and like shaking his head. And I was like, "Man, something's gonna change. Something's gonna happen sooner than later," but it hasn't happened yet. So who knows? Wait,
did you say Kincaid in net?
Yeah, when they played the Canadians, and Kincaid was in net.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm blanking out.
Carey Price did not look good on Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yeah, that's another dumpster fire. Are the Canadians? Oh my gosh, they're terrible as well. Yeah, at least we're not like alone in this high-profile teams being. There are other high-profile teams that look like absolute trash right now. Doesn't make it any easier, But like the Red Wings look like trash. The Canadians look like trash. We look like trash. Thankfully, the Rangers look like trash, except they beat us, so they're a little bit better than trash. But I was actually, a buddy of mine as a Ranger fan called me up tonight, talking a little bit earlier. He believes his team is garbage as well. I told him one of the advantages is you can wait till like 3:00 in the day of the game and you get cheap tickets for a Devils game, but can't do that for MSG. So at least we have that advantage right now. It sucks, but I'm looking for silver linings. Looking for silver linings.
A silver lining is that we do have, if this is just going to be another one of those seasons, we do have a lot of trade chips. We have that in our back pocket.
We do.
So obviously the biggest one being Taylor Hall, but as the names start coming out there, if a team is looking for defense and stuff like that, PK's name is probably going to come up. It'd be interesting to see, what something like that might bring back.
Yeah, but he hasn't done really spectacularly this year. So does he have any value to be traded? Like,
I don't know. How desperate is another team? We'll see how it goes.
But we're selling from a point of desperation. If a team knows that we're going to be selling from a point of desperation, we're not going to get the highest return on any of this. And then with Taylor Hall being in a contract year, trading him has got to come with some kind of conditions, like we were talking about before the podcast. He's got to have a bunch of conditions, or at least the team that we trade him to is going to probably want some kind of guarantee that they will at least have a shot at him signing there. Otherwise, why not just wait till July 1 if they really want him? We're in a bad.
I think we got
all around.
We're in a bad position, but eventually, well, it depends on how long this plays out. Eventually teams are gonna, fall into contention, and who's gonna make a run for it, and who's gonna be looking for some extra firepower, whether it be, offense or defense. Another thing, actually, I read somewhere someone was talking about it. Just Andy Green as well. Like, do we owe it to Andy if it's this late in his career and there's some team that's on a pretty good run? Does he waive? He's got a full no trade, but would we do that if he wanted one more shot at a cup or something like that? Is that something, so we never know how this season is going to play out when it comes down to all that sort of stuff. But we do have a lot of chips and assets.
Yeah, no, so, we do, but I just don't want to trade away the farm and then put us, 2 or 3 more years further back in this rebuild or whatever you want to call it.
No.
Yeah.
Some guys have to be untouchable, like Nico. I mean, obviously Nico and Hugh. You can't do that. Like, there's other guys too that I think we would want to hang on to, but you never know what they're going to bring back. But there's got to be a couple that are just completely off the table there.
Yep, true.
Yeah. First of all, welcome back, Tim Clark Callahan. How you doing, buddy?
Tim.
Matt,
how's Callahan Auto Parts doing?
Yeah. We make American. No, that's the other guy. So Matt brings up a great point. He said, "When is the rebuild over? We've been dealing with this same crap for over 5 years. How long do we have to suffer?"
We thought this year. Remember how excited we were in the summer?
Oh my gosh!
Holy hell! We're gonna be so friggin' awesome this year. We're gonna crush people. It's gonna be insane.
We turned into Carl from Aquatine.
Well, Everybody was so
meat
pumped
man,
about
you see how we're gonna be good on the paper?
Yeah, and crash and burn right there.
Yeah. But Cheryl was just saying she read somewhere Hall for 2 first-round picks, a possibility. I mean, okay, so Short Sky, you said this before, conditional picks, and I think that's what it's going to take to move Taylor Hall, and it's getting to the point where yes, we have to talk about the same thing over and over again, because if we talk about the fact that they're losing and the way they're losing, I might put my head through a window and never come back. So it's just one of those things, like, you have to look at this team as a whole. You were both mentioning the untouchables, right? So you have Hughes, you have Nico, you have Blackwood. You got a couple of things that are like the untouchable pieces of this team. Sammy Vatanen, who is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the summer, he could be a piece that you can move. But at the same time, I honestly, and I feel that the Devils find a way to re-sign him and retain him. I don't know if you guys agree with that. I don't know if you feel like we should move him, but I feel like Vatanen should be a piece that the Devils try to retain. Thoughts, gentlemen? Thoughts?
Well, in what type of role? Not as a top line pairing, I don't know. Like, and how long is he looking for? He's a little bit older. I don't know. But what else is out there? What else is out there on the market at this time?
I mean, but it depends. It depends on what you're trying to get back. I mean, that's kind of like, we do have, let's see, Matt in the Facebook group brought up Riley Walsh. We have Riley Walsh. We have Ty Smith. We have a couple really good prospects, defensively. But at the same time, like, how long do you want to just let this continue to swim in the bottom of the tank before you turn it around? I know the owners, if you look at the the Philadelphia 76ers model, they will let the team squander at the bottom. There's no pressure, apparently, from them to be like, hey, don't worry, we're going to sell you off or whatever. And they just let the team rebuild in a quote unquote natural way. So I don't know if that's what the plan is here, but it sucks right now. If that's the plan, it sucks. It's a sucky plan. Your plan sucks, sir. take your plan and shove it up your.
Yeah, I'm tired of all this losing. It's not fun to go to games anymore. You know, I was there 2 weeks ago, and the Devils blew it. They blew it against the Rangers. It's like, yeah, this is. I don't have words anymore for it. It's just so frustrating. It just sucks.
It's getting to the point where if you talk to season ticket holders, a lot of them are saying like, why do I want to renew my tickets, for next season if it's going to be the same crap over and over and over again? You know what I mean? Like, and you can't blame anybody for thinking that way, because this year was promised to be like, hey, we're turning the corner. We're going to take that next big step. And I don't care who's in this upcoming draft. I mean, obviously you keep an eye on it because unfortunately we're in a situation where, hey, we're going to be looking at that top 1 to 10 pick. It's like, that's cool and all, but at the same time, like, when are we going to get to the point where it's like, hey, we're looking at that, 6th or 7th seed in the playoffs, or we're looking at, challenging for the top 3 positions in the Metro division. Like, I'd rather have a team that's mediocre with a bunch of no-name freaking, lunch pailers out there that are actually making a push for the playoffs than a bunch of young kids and like a coach who's got his head so far up his ass that he lost his eyebrows somewhere along the way. It's getting old. Like, it's like, what I mean? Like, you get to the point as a fan, you just I just want to watch them win a goddamn game against the team. It's like you watch them against like Tampa Bay and you're like, oh, here comes the Tampa Bay Lightning or some other team with any kind of clout. It's like, who do we got to beat? We're going to beat the Detroit Red Wings, who suck worse than we do. Fantastic.
Yeah. And it's if ownership is trying to do what they did with the Sixers, it's a totally different market to be doing it in. Down in Philly, there's only one team per each sport. And regardless, the people down there really only have one choice per sport. And they're I guess kind of loyal to their teams. Here, we have over 10 professional sports teams in the area. On top of that, with New York City, with all the crap that city offers to go to with your entertainment dollars, if they keep going like this, the Devils' attendance is going to just continue to plummet. I just saw Kevin in the Facebook group said they were close to buying season tickets and they're happy that they backed out. You should want to go to games, not be happy that you backed out. You have season ticket holders complaining that they can get cheaper tickets the day of. What's the point of having season tickets? I was able to get a ticket 3:00 in the afternoon for $20, like row 17 downstairs. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just absurd to be able to do that. They're just going to keep losing people. And once those people are gone, you'd hope that they come back, but you never know. And that's what losing is going to do.
Yeah, losing sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
Oh God, we have cat space. I see like people talking about other things. Like, one thing is for sure, no matter what happens to Hall, you can almost guarantee that he's not re-signing next year, right? So you can he's gone.
Yeah.
It will open up the door for other guys to come up. There's a lot of guys that I guess deserve a shot to come up into the NHL level again. Mikey McLeod. But if not for anything, if this season does turn into a complete dumpster fire, it's on its way. Let's say the gasoline's already in the dumpster and some bum is walking by with a lit smoke going, I don't need this anymore. Is the gasoline in the dumpster? I don't think it's because the season's still young enough where it's not totally out the window that they can make some kind of respectability out of the season, right? They can turn it around. They can end up having a respectable season. And then you'll have everybody bitching and complaining like, oh, we should have sucked the whole way because now our draft choice is going to be bad. You can't get everything, people. Jesus. We should have just sucked anyways. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Going to a game and watching them win is terrible too, huh? That was that year, the McDavid year, when Corey started winning a couple games when we were like a terrible team. No, Corey's winning these games. Now we're not going to get the number 1 pick. Yeah, that's probably true.
You're damned if you do and damned if you don't with this fan base. It's like, what there. I don't know. Someone else take over. I have nothing. I really. There's like nothing. Like there's nothing more to be said. We're losing. It sucks. Paul is gone. We don't. I'm questioning if we have found a goaltender or not in Blackwood. He looks good, then he doesn't. Corey's down in the minors. At some point, Jack Hughes' entry-level contract is going to be over. Are we still going to suck then? Because he's going to want to go somewhere. He's not going to want to deal with this crap. We have Nico re-signed. Before you know, we'll have Mikey McLeod as the star of the team. Where are we going to be then, Beer Baron? Where are we going to be then?
Hoisting a trophy, hoisting the Stanley Cup over their heads. Oh God.
Oh man.
I really
like
hope
Tim
that
says the podcast over.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So Mike, okay. All right. We'll do something. So Mike Post said, you guys should talk about honest opinion, what you would want to do to change the team. To be honest with you, and I'll say this in all sincerity and without joking around or without going on a rant, it starts from the coach and it goes down from there. If you change the coaching, and if you change a few of the major pieces in the room, if you trade Taylor Hall for some decent assets, if you bring in maybe another defenseman that could, help relieve some of the minutes that Andy Green is taking on, if you get a little bit more consistency in what they're trying to do as a team, that is being as brutally honest or as straightforward as you can be. This team is lost. It has no direction. You can't fire the coach because he doesn't lose consistently enough for him to warrant getting fired. But at the same time, he doesn't win consistently enough for anybody to want him to coach the team. This team lacks consistency from the top to the very bottom. And if you want to be very straight about it, there you go. Anybody else? Anybody else want to jump in on that? Very serious note?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I think you hit it on the head right there. We do have a lot of young talent, so we've been teased this talent for quite some time. I feel like every single year we've had some sort of big draft pick with Zacha, Nico, Jack Hughes. We had the steal a couple summers ago with Will Butcher when he was the the college star. We won the Will Butcher sweepstakes. When are we going to see all this stuff really start to play out? Is the Devils here? I mean, here's a good question for you. Here's something, are there too many of the same types of players on the Devils?
No, I don't think that there's too many of the same players. What I think is there's talent only gets you so far, right? So you could have the most talented team on the ice, but if they're not led properly or if they're not coached properly, then talent means jack squat. And I feel like there is a disconnect, and a serious disconnect. Listen, if they were truly just bad and just a bad team, they would be bad night in and night out. They have games where they play really, really well. They have periods where they play really, really well. And then they just have periods where they look like they haven't skated in 3 weeks, or maybe they just skated 3 weeks straight and they can't move their legs anymore. So there's like a weird disconnect with the team. And I honestly feel like this is just a result of there could be a lot of guys in the locker room that are tuning out Hines. Like they've been there with Hines since he got there and they're just over it. And that happens in sports. And Short Guy, you could speak to this, right? As a coach who's, how long you been coaching hockey for? 10 years, something like that, right?
15? I think it's year 16 or something like that. Yeah, forever, basically.
You've seen kids tune out coaches, am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
And it happens on the pro level too.
Yeah, and it happens across all sports, not just hockey. After a while, sometimes the message just stops going. Just stops. At the ears, and it doesn't sink in. And once the players stop playing for the coach, they're done, and nothing's going to work. No matter what the coach says, no matter what the coach does, at that point, it's either going to be, the players moving out or the coach moving out. And generally, the first ones to move out are the coach, which in some cases, the players tune the coach out, and it's it sucks for the coach because it's a good coach and can't get it right, or the players just don't like him for whatever reason. In this case, it seems like they're potentially just tuning the coach out because they're just tired of it. That nothing has worked in the last couple of years. Like you said, with your honest opinion of everything. My thing that I was going to say is consistency. They don't have any consistency anywhere on the ice, not from line combinations to defensive pairings to 3 full periods being able to play from start to finish. The power play is atrocious. Letting up 2 shorthanded goals to lose us the game yesterday. That's atrocious. You should never do that.
On a major.
And there's just no consistency with this team. And that's really where it lies. Like, if you really want to start looking back, we haven't had consistency in goaltending since Corey Snyder was brought in and Brodeur was kind of forced out the door unceremoniously. And we have not had any kind of consistency in goaltending, and this franchise is built on goaltending and defense, 2 of things which we haven't had in years.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're tuning out Hines, there's no way he's going to get that back. There's no way he's going to regain that locker room or that team if that's the case. But we're not in the locker room. We're not at practice. We don't know what goes on. We're just speculating that they're potentially tuning him out. Maybe they just can't. Maybe the players just can't do what he's asking, which is baffling because they're so talented. Some of these guys are so incredibly talented, and if they can't do what he's asking, then what in the world's the problem?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people have been bringing up this point. Jason just said in the Facebook group, he goes, "How can you gain consistency when you have no idea who will be on your line shift?" Or on your line shift after shift alone. And that is a huge point. That is a huge point because it feels like every single game he's switching up the lines, and you hear that said over and over and over again. And let me tell you what, anybody that plays hockey, whether it be street ball in a corner, in a cul-de-sac in your town or up in the NHL level, if you have consistency with the same line mates, whether you're good, bad, or indifferent, you have to let that chemistry grow. And if you're not working out on the ice, guess what? It takes time for everybody to work together. You look at the Coleman, Gusev, and Zajac line. And that line, now that he's it feels like that's the only line that he's consistently keeping together. And the Palmieri, Nico, and Hall line. But even those lines get juggled around. But it feels like one line gets good and you get consistency with it. And then it's let's fiddle around with the other lines. It's no, you can't do that. You have to leave things where they are. And if they're going through a rough patch, you let them work through it. And that's where they learn trust. And that's where they learn consistency. And that's where they learn how to feed off of each other. But you can't do that when you're flipping everything around every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and same goes for defensive pairings in your goaltending, because if your defensive pairing remains consistent, then they'll know where each is going to be in a defensive situation. They're going to know how they're going to take each of the plays. And as a goalie, you're going to know that guy is going to be to my right, and he's going to have that guy covered, or he's going to pick up that stick to make sure that pass doesn't get to him. If that consistency is not there, you are constantly thinking as the goaltender, who do I have to worry about right now? There's 100 things to worry about in the middle of a game. And do I have to worry about is my defensive is one of the guys that are supposed to be playing in front of me going to pick up the guy on the side of the net? All of it's just from front to back to consistency. Why they can't just keep lines together from game to game, especially when it works. Every now and then it works, and the Devils look fantastic. Every now and then a period we look fantastic, and then they juggle the lines, and it looks like crap. I understand mid-game juggling the lines because you get a penalty, because you might think something might work, or guys need a rest, guys are injured. There's a whole host of reasons why you're going to juggle lines. Why the Devils do it is beyond me. It just, even after winning games, oh, great, that won. That combination worked. Common sense would say, go with that combination again. No, they don't. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't get it.
Break them up. Come on.
I don't get it,
guys. Benny says there's a fire sale coming. I don't know if there's necessarily a fire sale coming, but there has to be something coming down the line. I don't know if it feels like from every corner of the earth that there's a Devils fan sitting in, that there's some kind of fan just sitting there screaming that something needs to change. And Ray Shero has to be doing something. You can only hope. Go ahead, Sam. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
This graphic is staring at me. I made it specifically for Shorts Guy this morning, but now Shorts Guy's hockey game got canceled. But I just want to show the Bobby's Auto Care hotline. Shorts Guy and Erica. I like that picture. Shorts.
That's
I
a good
just
picture.
wanted to show everybody. Yeah.
That's when everybody was happy. That was
Yeah,
the
right?
Jack
Yeah.
Hughes'
Yeah.
the night that we drafted Jack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was from draft day. That was exactly that. You know, that was a good time. There's a lot of hope in the air. That's the big thing, is there was
Mhm.
hope and everyone believed. And now it's I don't want to say it's gone, because it's still, regardless of how bad we look right now, it is still the beginning of December, and there's still a little bit of hope. Hope is, quickly going away, because
Mhm.
it's going to get to a point, if this continues deep into January, it's, at
Uh-oh.
that point, it's going to be a mess. However, they have to start doing something. It is now the post-Thanksgiving period where trades will start taking place. So at this point, it could be any day now that a big change is made. I still think it's, firing Hines is looking like the situation, it is looking like the, what should be number one on the list, unless there's something that just, there's also no full-time there's no good full replacement for him. So it's going to be a caretaker coach. That's got to be first and foremost, but we should start seeing moves now that it's post-Thanksgiving. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think the worry is just, doing that is, it's obviously throwing in the towel on the season. So, what does
I
that
don't
look
think
like
they'll-
to all the season ticket holders and everything else like that?
It looks like, not renewing. I'd be curious what their renewals are going to look like for next season. I'll be curious of when they're going to put those renewal contracts out. I want to say, I believe the Devils do automatic renewals now. It's going to be hard to ask for deposits. It's
Yeah,
going to be hard to ask for
I can't wait to
deposits.
get the phone call. Hey,
Yeah,
buddy.
hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey guys, Shorts Guy, did you see the response Gooch made to the Devils when they were soliciting him
Yes.
for season tickets?
I
That's
did.
hilarious. I should actually read. I should actually read about. By the way, Gooch's mom, Mama Hans, is 81 today. Just wanted to give her a shout out.
Hey, congratulations, Mama Hans.
81. Yeah,
All
Mama
right.
Hans. Yeah, I'm trying to find. Was that in the group text? I think it's in the group text. I gotta read. I gotta read it. It's actually it was the politest response I ever have read, but
I
it was
might
just
have it here.
hilarious.
I have it
Yeah.
right here, Sam.
Okay, why don't
so,
you read it?
Yeah, so the Gooch got an email talking about the awesome holiday plan for sale where they get to pick 4 games, whatever. So the response, very, very, very respectable. Chris, with all due respect, until certain things change within this organization, my money will stay in my pocket. Let's go Devils. Regards, the Gooch. That's a
So
fantastic
nice.
response.
The nicest way to go. Yeah, that's the nicest way to go. Tell somebody to go F themselves
Yeah.
without having to say it.
Well, did you remember the one email that they sent the club members? Yeah. I'm in the lab. I'm in the bunker. I'm in the bunker studio.
He's in a lab, in a sterile lab, mixing up concoctions.
Yeah, what kind of weird things are you working on there?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
prepping for the end of the world over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the background, you see canned food.
He's prepping for the Devil's fire sale. That's what's going on.
Very sterile building.
There
Yeah.
are going to be some wild woo reports coming through when this happens, I swear.
Yeah, I'll do a woo weather report tomorrow, on 287. I'll just stop my car in the middle of 287. Be like, look at that wreck. Look at that wreck. That looks like the New Jersey Devils, that pile up right there. Anyway, yeah, but they sent an email over the summer. One of my buddies, Shorts guy, you know him, has club level seats, and then he canceled because the team was doing bad. And the subject line was, "Hey, where have you been?" And then you go into the subject line, "Did you become a Ranger fan?" Like, who sends that to season ticket holders? Like, I should pull out that email. That email is like hilarious too. It's like, I know the salespeople are really trying, and I can admire it. Like a sales guy, you know me. I love to plug, our quest for the $35 million jet. But I mean, my God, you know what? I should be selling Devils tickets, but I'm not. I would just be honest and be like, look, I know we suck, but we still need to support the team.
Hey, you want to buy these tickets because the team really sucks a bag right now? You want to get these tickets? I might practically giving them away.
Just buy these tickets.
Just get a bunch of guys from like Bayonne. Hey, you guys want to buy these tickets or what? I'm going to come down there and smash your face open with a bat with a Louisville.
If you get the weekend plan, you get to be a special guest on the Woo Report. That's what happens.
You get this fancy gold chain. You get a gold chain, and you get this personalized puck from yours truly. Take a ride in my garbage truck. It's a legit business. And anybody outside of New Jersey is like, what the hell is he talking about?
And you know what's the worst? You know what's the worst about these guys? So it's like, and when you're an actual season ticket holder, right? You're an actual season ticket holder, but they don't know that. And then they try to convince you to have season tickets. That's the worst. Next time they call me and I'm near my near my studio board, I'll patch this in and just like play that shit. Whoops. I screwed that one up.
Hey.
All right.
Somebody was saying, I think you're done for the night, Sam.
Yeah.
Go back. I got a game. Whoops. I got a game.
I thought you said Spidey.
You get a 5-minute major for that
one. I thought you said Spidey. Okay, you okay, Spider? Spidey, okay?
That's all right. No one's listening anyway.
Yeah. Can't say that on the air. Anyways. It just shows you what happens when the wheels fall off. They really fall off the whole season.
The wheels fall off.
You know, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, my buddy John, who he likes to listen to our podcast when he goes on the road or has a long drive, and he's like, man, I forget what podcast we did. He's like, you guys sounded depressed, and I'm like, yeah, dude, because it's like every Sunday.
Yeah, it could be anywhere from the last 2 months.
Yeah, just pick a podcast and be like, man, how are you guys doing? And we're like, we're struggling, pal. We're really struggling. we're trying hard to keep it together as a fan base. But it's like one of those things. Like, I was watching a game the other day, and you're watching, and you're like, hey, this is going all right. This is going good. And then something bad happens. You're just like, I expect this more than I expect anything good to happen. And you're like, what the hell? What is going on here? They let up the 2 shorthanded goals against the Rangers, and I almost expected that more than them scoring like 3 goals on a 5-minute major.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what the season's come down to already. I'll be honest. I've always tried to watch every second of every game, and whenever I went to games, I would never leave early or anything like that. Man, that Ranger game. And I turned it off.
Real kick in the nuts. Real kick in the nuts.
How long was it? How long? I mean, because they took penalties as well, so they nullified some of the actual penalty minutes. But I think they said it was something like 15 or 16 minutes of actual power play time that they just. Yeah. How can you not at least get one?
And Jason just nailed it on the head again. It's humiliating to be at that game. At the Rock, surrounded isn't even a way to put it. Just engulfed by Ranger fans, and to hear that place
heard
getting taken, like it is the
TV,
it
and I
is
just
being at a
so bad.
Being at a Rangers game and watching them take over our building. It is the absolute worst feeling in the world.
Yep.
It's because and I knew it was going to happen. That was part of the reason why I wanted to turn the game off, because I did want to like listen to it at the end, because I knew all the Devils fans were probably hightailing it out of there before the last like 2 minutes of the game, because it was 4-0 at that point. You know, like oh man, it drove me.
Or Devils fans sold their tickets because they didn't want to go because we're such a disaster. Meaning Ranger fans were buying them cheap and going to the game. You know, it's just those are the games that you should not lose against the Rangers. Sam, should we lose against the Rangers? Yes or no?
No, but I was one of those dumb fans that sold my tickets.
Sam.
Hey, thank you, Kelly, for saying that she likes the podcast. Yeah, dude. Hey, by the way, this Saturday, December 7th, we'll be in Rockaway, New Jersey at the Tavern on the Rocks. If you want to come see us live and see one of our epic rants live and in person, I might be Ubering there, which means that this show might get a little extra crazy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, come out to the live event and let's be miserable together at the bar. We'll have Jeff serving us drinks, and we can turn the Devils game into some kind of drinking game, because we're probably going to need it to get through this. It's gonna.
You gotta like do a shot every minute of power play time they don't score. You know.
Hey,
you know what's
Title podcast? Title podcast will be sinking ship.
Regardless about what happens, it's going to be a fun time because our live events are always a good time. Tavern in Rockaway is always a fun place to go. Jeff is an awesome guy. Beer Baron, you know him kind of well. The rest of us have gotten to know him. Yeah, you kind of know him. You kind of little relationship there. It's going to be a good time. So everyone should just come on out and let's be miserable together.
Three loves company.
Yeah, right.
We're not alone.
We're not cutting the show short.
We have.
Whoa, Tim Clark Callahan. We're not cutting the show short. We're just throwing a plug out there. That's all.
Yeah,
you throw a plug out there once in a while.
We're trying to teach.
Yeah, each time they change up the line.
Yeah, Peter.
Each time
we'd be on the floor.
First period, we'd be dead drunk.
Oh my god. Let's see, Jason. Every time John Hines looks like he has no idea what's going on, you take a drink. Yeah, you're right. We'll be dead by the start of the third. Is being generous.
Start of the third.
Yeah,
halfway through the first, you're gonna be done.
Oh my god,
knocked out cold.
Yeah, maybe that's something we should task our listeners with. Think of the best drinking game between now and Saturday, and bring it to the live event, and we'll figure out one to play while we're watching the game.
Yes.
Drink every turnover from Tim.
That's
Every turnover. Man.
Let's see what else.
So tomorrow, will we win? Will we win tomorrow? That's a good question.
Who we playing? I was so disappointed that I forgot to look ahead. Who are we playing tomorrow?
Buffalo.
You know what?
Oh, we're playing Buffalo.
Hey, Buffalo's awful, terrible, and kind of in the same place that we're in. So,
but
although they did blow our doors off, they beat us 7-2.
The last time.
Yeah, the last time we were up there was 7-2, and it was quick. And we had a live event against Buffalo. Our first live event of the season was against Buffalo, and we got our doors blown off. That's right. We're doing a live event for Nashville. Sorry, I can't read the schedule. But yeah, the last time
Mike says every time the Devils score a drink, everybody be driving home sober.
What's the point of that? What's the point of that's not a drinking game.
Drinking game.
Yeah. Although everyone should drive sober, it's being responsible.
Yes.
But I'm not saying there's
take a rat chair.
Yes, I'm just saying if we're gonna play a drinking game, why are we gonna play one where we don't drink?
Yeah.
You know what sucks is like if they win tomorrow, and if they could get a decent like winning streak going, right? If they can win 2 or 3 games in a row, it puts a Band-Aid on the glaring situation. You know what I mean?
Like how we're hoping
gonna be like,
for a 2-game winning streak. You know, that's what we're hoping for.
set those standards real low. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Lowered expectations.
Hey, oh my God. Your expectations are real low when you're like a 2-game winning streak, man. Whoa, wouldn't that be nice? Christmas came early.
Like right when you get to like technicality of it being a winning streak, we're like, all right, we're there. We made it. Yeah. 2 games. Woo.
Yeah,
Only to be followed up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Only to be followed up by a 5-game losing streak.
Oh yeah,
Naturally.
real suck job.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say Tim Clark Callahan says he hasn't heard PK say we're in the mix in over a week. Yeah, dude, that's what sucks too. Is like I genuinely enjoy PK Subban's enthusiasm and his like very exuberant, just him. Just he's an excitable person, and he's got a great personality. And when we win, it's fun to watch because I'm like, dude's enjoying himself out there. You know, he sends out videos of like, hey, we're having fun on a plane. There's Taylor Hall who doesn't know what day it is, which actually happened.
Lindsey Vonn.
There's Lindsey Vonn. But I mean, like,
let's be real here. That's come on.
Yeah, I mean,
she was the boss in that deal. Get Lindsay and the dog on Instagram.
Yeah, right. But honestly, like, I just want them to win, and it's not even like I want them. Well, let's make a push for the playoffs, even though it's not totally out of the realm of possibility. It's just like the title of our show this week. Things have to change, and things have to change in a very, very drastic way, unfortunately. And it's just until that happens, we're going to be stuck in this repeat. And you can come onto the the podcast, and you'll probably have something to laugh about, or we'll try to entertain you the best we can. But Jesus Christ, I'm getting real tired of talking about them losing. Tank,
Kevin,
no, I don't want to tank. I don't want to tank. No. Please.
Yeah.
And I don't care, dude. And I understand that Skid, whose name I can't pronounce, is a stud. The projected number 1 overall pick.
What's his name?
It's too early to look for projected number 1 overalls.
Naga, not gonna play for us anyways. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
Ramona said that still thinking the Devils can do it like the Blues. I mean, that's always hanging out there, but they've got to start doing something. But the way the Blues turned it around last year was with consistency. They started to get consistent winning in goal.
And firing a coach.
Firing a coach.
They fired the coach, and that was the first step because they had people fighting in practice. It was bad, and I remember watching something on Twitter. It was like this. They were talking about like the Blues are in the dumpster and they're in last place, and are they going to sell off Tarasenko and they're going to get rid of the whole team? And then boom, everything turned around.
So it's always possible, and I have that hope too. And I really want to see them do that. But when they just keep doing the same things over and over and over and over again, and it's not doing anything good, it's like you're banging your head against the wall, almost like what's going to change and when is it going to change and how are they going to change? It's just like, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And Paul, I think we're going to see some of these guys from, like McLeod and Bastian come up sooner once the deals start happening. I think we're going to get a good look at a lot of these guys from down in the AHL level. Paul's just
and not for nothing. I was looking at some of the the who the Devils could actually trade for or who they would want to trade for, and the one name that keeps popping up that I think I know everybody's he's like 5'2", is Caulfield from Montreal. The dude ripped it up with Jack Hughes. They were like incredible together. I don't know if it's just like that optimism where you're like, hey, look at what they've done in the past. Obviously, it was in not in the NHL. But I mean, the thought of Caulfield coming over here would be great. But just they need to do something. They need to do like I don't know. Like Hines is probably cursed at them all. He's probably done everything that he can, and I feel like the message is completely lost to him. I don't know, dude. It'd be nice if they're gonna pull the trigger on something. Do something drastic. For crying out loud. Like, please.
I think they're going to soon.
What's nice is it's now in that period of time where they will start doing that. It's that post-Thanksgiving period, like I said earlier. Now would be the time to start seeing the possibility of some trades, some movement. It's just a matter of, the biggest move, the biggest piece to move, Taylor Hall. Are they going to be able to move him for anything? That's my worry.
What's up, Hockey Goat on Twitch? Sorry, I had to shout that out. Hockey Goat on Twitch. Fine. What's up?
Hockey Goat 45. Thank you for following us on Twitch. A new Twitch follower. Yeah, we have 5 now? 5 whole followers?
Yeah.
We're really moving up in the world of Twitch. It's Shiro has some work ahead of him. He's got his work cut out for him, and he's got to start doing something and doing something quickly. And things that are going to I want to see moves that are going to be impactful now. Not it's going to make us a better team in a year or two. Start making moves that are going to do something now.
Yeah, and it's funny because somebody was saying in regards to the different coaches that would be great to see behind the Devils bench. A lot of people are saying Guy Boucher, and one of the things I always thought about him is he looks like a villain from any 1990s movie with that big scar in his face, which I hope I never meet him in person because he'd probably punch me in the face for saying that. But he looks like he's like a villain from any Die Hard movie or something like that. Like the guy that he would get, Bruce Willis would waste with a machine gun, but somehow later come out of the building with his arms in the air, like, oh my God, he's still alive. And then the cop who's never fired his gun in 16 years because he killed a kid comes out and fires his gun. Great movie. That's a Christmas movie by Carl Winslow. You're damn straight. Guy Boucher would be the guy that got killed by Carl Winslow. And that's how he would be announced as the next New Jersey Devils head coach. We want to announce that the next Devils head coach is the man who was murdered in cold blood by Officer Winslow. Guy Boucher, everybody. Guy Boucher.
Oh man,
Mike.
Why would you want the retread of Claude Julien?
Yeah, Mike Post just brought up. Would you guys trade Hall for Johnny Hockey? Yes.
Hell yes, in a heartbeat.
Yes.
Bring him back. Send Hall back to Calgary.
Why would the Flames trade Johnny Gaudreau?
Exactly.
Yeah, the only reason they would do it is if they had.
They would do it.
They wouldn't do it. They would never do it.
But that still also wouldn't solve our problem defensively. We still have our disastrous defensive game going on too. So we've got to do something there. Yeah.
That's why I think Taylor Hall is not going to be the only one. Yes, if that was the case, absolutely. But Calgary is never going to offer that. You know.
No.
That's why I think there's going to be more than just Taylor Hall moved at some point. Sammy may look good as a rental. We talked about if Andy wants one more shot at a cup, we're going to say no to that. If there's a team that really, eventually stands out as that clear-cut favorite.
Palmieri could be Palmieri could be a good, some good trade bait. There's a lot of guys that are, potentially on the block, and we saw with the Henrique trade that Shiro is willing to do those moves. So we'll see.
I like Palms a lot. I hope he keeps Palms.
So do I.
Next captain.
Yeah, of course. But you know what? Who knows what's going to happen? It's after Thanksgiving. All right, I hear the music. Final thoughts, gentlemen. Other than we suck.
Yeah. I don't know. I was at Slayer the other night. Woo! Final show.
Nice.
Let's Devils. Let's try and win one. Something. Let's just get a couple. One hell
of a final thought there, Scotty.
Yeah.
my expectations are so lowered now. You know, I don't know what to exactly look for. You know what? I'm going to look for continued good play from Zajac, Coleman, and Gusev, unless Hines breaks them up promptly in the next game. You know, but let's look to see if that line continues to build in a positive way.
My final thoughts are the fact that there's a picked up chatter of any kind of Hall movement, especially from a bigger source like a Pierre LeBrun, usually means that there's something in the water that is tangible. So, as I said last week, now that Thanksgiving is come and gone, don't be surprised if there's any kind of move with this team anytime soon, whether it be a coaching change, it could be an assistant that gets fired, or it could be John Hines getting fired, or Taylor Hall getting moved. I feel like there is some kind of change in the air. I feel like this team is going to do something, and I don't know if that's wishful thinking or stupidity that's coming out of my mouth right now, but something's got to give. And I feel like I don't think Ray Shero is going to let this season completely slip away. So, something is going to happen soon. Wishful thinking, probably, right?
No. I'm going to totally agree with you that, moves, there's going to be change in the air, that moves are going to be made. Remind all of our listeners, set your alerts for the Let's Go Devils podcast, because when big moves are made, watch for us to come online shortly and discuss it or rant about it or just, who knows?
Or even break the news.
Or even break news. Which we could do. So everyone set your alerts for that. Also, don't forget, we have a live podcast event coming up this Saturday, the 7th, at Tavern on the Rocks in Rockaway. Come on out. Let's be miserable together. Come up with a drinking game, and everyone make sure that you have a ride home. If you're going to participate in the drinking game, 21 and over, please. Boys, I think that's it. We've gone over our allotted time. I know producer Sam has to get going, so thank you all listening on all of our platforms.
Boiling over.
And until next time, let's go Devils. Woo!